right, so your pups last night turned 2 weeks old. This is when all the action starts. They're doing some big milestones for the puppies. All of their eyes are either opened or opening, meaning they're at least part way open. They start opening on the inside corners of their eyes, you know, like where your tear ducts would be. They start opening there, and then they work their way out to the outside corners. It takes a couple of days from the time they start opening till they're all the way open. So all these pups' eyes are either open or opening, which is great. The 2-week mark is right where you expect that to be happening. Their ears are also getting close to being open. They're starting to almost have that open ear canal going, getting much closer there. So that's great. They all had their first toenail trim this week, like we talked about on their last movie. No teeth yet, but that should be coming pretty quick here. Probably in the next week or 10 days, we'll be seeing some teeth in these puppies. That's when life starts to get a little rough for mama. As you can imagine, puppy teeth are seriously needle sharp. So as soon as those teeth start coming, the weaning process begins. That happens over about a week that we wean them so that mama doesn't get mastitis problems. So once their teeth erupt out of their gums, then we'll start introducing them to lapping some milk out of a bowl. And then from there you move to some soggy dog food and ground up meat and that kind of thing. So anyway, that's kind of what will be coming up for them. They're doing great. They're all just dog piling together, taking their nap. Daisy's been outside while we've put on the new blanket for today and all that kind of jazz. So we'll be bringing her in, and then it will be a feeding frenzy, and they will come to life. Let me see if I can get a hold of one and get a face shot for you of one that's got their eyes open. I'm pretty sure light purple here is one that has her eyes all the way open. Look at that sweet face. Oh, nothing quite as cute as a puppy, is there? They're just so sweet and got their eyes open. So they're going to start being able to experience their world in some more dimensions now. More than just smell. They're going to start to see and hear, and they're still sleeping most of the time, but in the next week or two, they're going to become really active, playful, especially once they're weaned. You know, by then they're starting to just be really developed, and that's when their personalities will come out. They'll be awake for more of the day, be able to see a lot of fun action out of them. But they're just growing and trucking along and doing great. We're real happy with them. Right, so we got Daisy in here. When she first comes in, she always walks around and checks. I think somehow a mother dog can count. I don't know. They seem to know if they're all there or not. Check them all out, sniff them, lick them. And in a minute she'll lay down and feed them. Red's finding his way over there. We got a pile of sleepy pups in this corner. Come here, Gray. Green's doing big ones. Oh, she just peed all over. Mama's gonna clean it up. Good girl, Daisy. Out on the action team. Here's one. There you go. There's one. Hey, Daisy. Hi. Girl, sweet dog. Ray's gonna clobber everyone, isn't he? Just gonna clobber everyone. You'll probably see in the videos, they've still got their little stitches in the end of their tails. Let's see here, whose one is showing? Right here. You can still see that scab and a little stitch in the end, but they're just healing up real good, just like you'd expect them to. Their dew claws are, probably can't see them right now, their front paws are all busy, but their dew claws are all healed up. Belly buttons are all healed up, doing real well. This black metal bar around the outside here, this is what's called a pig rail because they use them with hogs and pigs too. And the idea there is just that it helps keep babies from being laid on. So some of the main killers of a pup are getting chilled or getting laid on by the mother. If they're out in the middle, usually the mother is pretty aware they're there and won't lay on them. And if she does lay on one, she's usually able to tell that it is her puppy. But if she gets up against a wall, like if that rail wasn't there and Daisy's back was against that wall, and there was a puppy behind her and she leaned back, she could trap it between her body and the wall and just think she was leaning against the wall and not even realize that she was laying on one of her pups. So this is just kind of a safe zone that keeps the pups from getting trapped between mama and wall. You know, it's at such a height that she can't go under it, but the puppies can. So that's the idea behind that. Good, good. Good, good. The pups are getting bigger, better able to maintain their body temperature. So we're able to gradually turn the temperature down in here. Like we said before, we started out at about 85 degrees when they were born. And then you don't want to do too drastic of a change. Gradually move it down. We're down about 10 degrees now. We're down to about the 75 degree range. And they're big enough that they can maintain their body temperature there. And it's a lot more comfortable for Daisy. So we're getting close to that time when the pups are a lot more active. And those of you who are wanting to visit, from about 3 weeks on, 3 to 4 weeks on, is when they're the most fun to be here and observing and watching. You'll be able to tell more about their personalities at that age. Their personalities start to come through as they're awake more and moving around more. You can kind of see their energy level, their dominance, some of those things that you can start to predict a little bit better at that point, as well as be able to see some of their physical characteristics that are going to come through in adulthood as well. You know, we don't have a crystal ball. We can't guarantee exactly the weight or anything like that of what each pup's going to be, but we can kind of get an idea of who will be bigger and smaller and some of those things as well. So that's a really good time. 3 weeks at the earliest, probably even 4 weeks on. That will make your trip really worth your while and worth your time to come. One of them's doing a headstand there. Come over here, Darren, get a shot of Gray. This is a demonstration of what we're talking about with the pig rail. You can see how that's creating a safe zone for him between mama and wall where he's not going to get squashed. So that's the purpose of that. So we're really liking this new whelping box. The walls wipe down and sanitize very well. We choose to do a fabric bottom in ours. Some people do carpet. The reason for that is it's hard for a puppy to scoot underneath a piece of carpet and get trapped and suffocated. So some people use carpet because it's heavier and stiffer. We don't like that because it's just so not cleanable. And the puppies pee and poo a lot, and it's just really not very sanitary. So we choose to do a fabric that we can wash and change out as many times a day as needed to keep it clean. But we do ours in such a way that it's impossible for a puppy to get underneath. We've got it set up so that there is no way that they're going to be able to scoot under there and get trapped. So it's just a real safe and clean setup for your puppies for the start of life. We leave them in here for, depending on the litter, until they're about 3 or 4 weeks old. And then at that point we have a puppy room, and there's some videos of that on our website from previous litters that you could view. It's a bigger area for them as they get bigger and more active. So there's a puppy room in our home that all designated for puppies, and it's got its own heat system and lighting and ventilation and all that kind of stuff. So it just works out real well. So depending on the litter and when they seem ready to move, between 3 and 4 weeks, we'll be moving them down into that puppy room, give them more area and more room. When the weather is permitting, we take puppies outside too, starting at about that 4 or 5 weeks old. If the weather is permitting, we allow them to go outside and play, which they really, really enjoy in the warm season litters. But in the winter or cold times, at that age, the pups really are just too small to be able to handle the cold weather. So their outside time is pretty much just dependent upon the season and the weather. You can hear all the fun sounds they make. It's okay, Daisy. It's okay. Ears all flopped over, sister. Let's fix that ear. Oh, watch out, Green. Should we move Green? You want to lay down, huh? She's in your way. You want me to move her so you can lay down? Come here, Green. Oh, I'm knocking the bar over. Come here, Green. There we go. Now you can